All right, now we're in business. Awesome. So our agenda today looks similar to the way it has before. We're just going to have a brief reminder of our Zoom norms, which most of you have heard multiple times by now. A community builder by Ms. Lopez. We'll have some grade level highlights, some academic updates, and some school culture updates. So there'll be plenty of time for Q&A at the end. But as you know, with our Zoom norms, if there's something that you want to ask during the chat and chew, you're welcome to use the raise a hand function, and we can pause throughout the presentation to respond to questions that way. You can also use the chat feed to type questions, and our team will respond throughout the meeting, and we can answer any that we don't get answers to when we come to the end. Ms. Lopez, I'm going to turn it over to you for our community builder.
Sure. So you may believe in this, you may not believe in it. You may only apply it when it's great attributes. You may only apply it when it's not great attributes. But this was a question that we had in the SFA department as a network, as one of our like joy factor questions. So you're gonna, what's your astrological sign and an attribute people give you that is not true. So to give you an example, my sign is a Cancer, and people make a lot of faces, and then they just think I cry all the time, which is absolutely not true. I rarely ever cry or like show emotion. Sorry, I'm showing the top of my head. What a bad zoomer. Yeah, I'm pretty bland. Although I feel the feelings, I do feel them and I get really excited. I'm not the first one to like be the mush. So that's an attribute. So you can go ahead and put that in the chat, just like or if you don't know your sign or somebody else's, like something that you've heard. So like people always talk about Geminis, people always talk about, I can only think about me and how people make fun of me that I'm supposed to be like really crazy and like really emotional and I cry for everything. And Ms. Strong's face looks like some people have judged her in her life for her sign. I know that Taurus are supposed to be my friends and Virgos. I know some other people are not. I'm a Libra, but I don't really know what that means. It means you're balanced. It's a balance. Like at least know that you're a balance.
When I was growing up, my mother, I knew nothing about this. She's very, very religious, and astrological signs were like we were not talking about it. So I knew that I was Libra, but I didn't have any idea what that meant. So thank you for telling me. It's that I'm balanced.
If you grew up in my house, there's a guy, rest in peace. His name was Walter Mercado. He came on every afternoon at like 3, 4 o'clock. So it's like when everybody got home from work, and he would tell you your sign, and like he'd like go through the signs and tell you like what to expect for the day or for the week or whatever. Like a lot of people relied on the guy, and he passed away like last year, and I had to send it to my mom. Like it's an emotional time for her. Everyone watches Walter. He was the man. His jewelry was amazing. But we can show his picture another time. Thank you everyone who wrote in the chat feed. Man, Miss Reed, that's why we get along, because you're a Virgo. We're like people. This makes sense.
And so is it like the Chinese calendar where like, because I'm also a rat. I know that because I didn't know enough to know that, but I know rats are like supposed to be friends with another, like you have pairings. Do astrological have pairings too?
Yes, there's pairings. So like Miss Reed, like Anissa's mom, like that's why we get along. Miss Borges, that's why we get along. Miss Brysa, that's why we get along. Like supposedly, kind of valid though.
Interesting. Awesome. We learn something new every day. Now I'm going to do my research, find out all the attributes. I'll tell you next week Libra attribute that I do not embody. Awesome. If you're just joining us, thank you for being here. I'm happy to have you here and see you virtually. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Colgan for some fifth grade highlights.
Awesome. For fifth grade highlights, I'm not going to read you all the shout outs because you can see the screen, which Ms. McCullough pointed out to everybody last week. But for core value awards, scholarship, responsibility, merit, and sisterhood, we had Zadia, Catherine, Genelise, and Madison win this week, which was really exciting. Super happy for them. They've been working really, really hard and showing off all of their core values. But like I told the fifth grade, I honestly wanted to give them all awards because they've all been killing it through virtual learning. And then if you go to the next slide, there is a wonderful picture of some of the stuff that is happening in small group, including self-care, which was super cute. Jaylene showed up with her face mask on to talk about ancient Rome and political corruption, while also ensuring her self-care was happening. So remember, self-care is important. It is happening for fifth graders. Please make sure it's happening for you as well.
I'm going to turn it over to Miss Colbert. Are you here, Miss Colbert?
I am here. Yes, I am. Okay, sixth grade highlights. We have a lot more this week. I know we've been missing out on that. I have a picture of my watch with some pictures from sixth grade. Honestly, it has been such a pleasure to have them. They're so funny and full of personality, as are all children, but it's been a different kind of experience this year. So I am going to definitely miss them when they move on to seventh grade. Sixth grade this week. Excellent job with just looking at perspectives and being able to determine their own in ELA. We have a lot of shout outs from different students because we just want to share the love. This does not encompass everyone that we could shout out because when we have class, like a lot of students are really engaged all the way, and so we're really happy about that. Alyssa has been always present and participating in morning advisory. She's always there keeping me company. Anares has been asking a lot of great thoughtful questions in math, and she's so ready to engage. We have the superpower quadruplets over here, Esther, Kaylee, Heaven, and Madison have really been rocking it out in pretty much all of their classes with discussion. And we can go on and on. The quote I want to put out is what Mr. Marr had to say. Yeah, he stated that Esther will take down the patriarchy because they've been talking about women power. So it's been really great. You can read the rest of them. Some of our scholars have been really killing it in office hours. They've been working really hard with me. So I just want to shout them out for all of their hard work. That's it for fifth grade. For sixth grade, not fifth grade. Used to teach fifth grade.
Thanks, Ms. Colbert. Turning it over to Ms. Walker.
Awesome, thanks. So I just have some shout outs from different teachers and different classes to share today. My shout outs for history go to Kaylin, Joanna, Anaya Sarai, Lauren Noble, Isabella, and Caitlin Burrows. I call them shiny stars. They are always leading class discussions, always ready to share out their amazing ideas. Sometimes I actually ask them to not share so that other people can get their voice in there, but I really appreciate their dedication and leadership in the class and how on top of things they are. I also wanted to shout out Emily Picard, Biani Quesada, and Zanaya, because they've been really stepping up their class participation in the past week. Keep it up. Some other shout outs, Ms. Sikander wanted to shout out Savannah, who's been killing it in her small groups and has been a real leader in the class. Savannah is always super responsible and she motivates other students and is always engaged. So Danny wanted to shout out Sarah for her work ethic and for being a quiet but powerful mind. Sarah's work always looks amazing. And Ms. Neela wanted to shout out Liani Bermudez for showing up to book club every day and reading with amazing inflection and feeling. Everyone in seventh grade is doing amazing, sweetie.
Awesome. Shout out to seventh grade. And eighth grade, The one highlight that we wanted to share, although there were many, is one that I know people have been waiting for. So we are excited to confirm our joint Lower East Side Middle and Bronx Middle Class of 2020 virtual graduation ceremony. You will be receiving your formal invitation for the ceremony, along with all of the details about this exciting day in just a few days. But wanted to share the day and the time. So it is going to be Thursday, June 25th at 10 a.m. And so again, more information to come, but wanted to share that highlight because we are super excited of our seniors and so excited to celebrate them in all the ways that we can now, knowing that this is not a typical 8th grade graduation, but it's going to be an awesome one. So wanted to share that with families. Shifting gears into academic updates. So we've talked a lot about Zoom, and families that filled out the tech survey gave us some feedback on this. So just want to make sure that we are all on the same page about the ways that our school is going to utilize the platform. We are not making a full school, every teacher, every classroom shift to the Zoom platform for a couple of reasons. One, we want to be mindful of the adjustment to new tech platforms, both for adults and for students, and want to make sure that people feel successful and confident set up using the platforms that they're comfortable with. The teachers that are excited to utilize Zoom are excited to use the different features that Zoom has that are different from Google Meet, and to think about the ways that they can incorporate that into their lessons, including like breakout rooms so that they can pull small groups, easy access to sharing a whiteboard, and easier screen sharing. For the teachers that are going to use Zoom for their virtual class, they're going to do a couple of things to make sure that students and families are set up for success and that we don't miss a beat. So the link on the student-facing schedule will be updated so that your scholar can continue to access all their classes through that same schedule. If a teacher is going to use the Zoom platform, they will update the meeting link with a Zoom link. They will also post that link in their Google Classroom, and they'll email families and scholars so that you all will know. And then what we've been doing to make sure that we can make this transition seamless for kids is teachers have been testing it out in small groups. Some teachers, including I know Ms. Walker and Ms. Colbert, have tested it out large group with kids to make sure that everybody can access it and to work through any technical glitches. So we're excited that some teachers are going to be utilizing this. They are on our other campuses. Our other public prep campuses have been using Zoom for a variety of things, and we've been using it for recess as well. So just wanting to let everybody know that that may be happening and that you will get notified from that teacher. If there are any issues with it or you have questions, you can always reach out to our grade team leaders who are on this call or directly to your scholar's POC to make sure that they've got everything they need. Another update is just on academic progress conferences. So as you know, we did not have a traditional day of conferences like we typically do because we shifted into remote learning. But we also allowed parents to request a conference via a Google form if they really had burning questions that they wanted to get answered. We hosted some meetings last Friday, and we're going to host some this Friday as well from 9 to 12. And so if you are on the list of families that are going to be contacted on Friday, you will be hearing from Ms. Lopez with your window of time. There are also, we want to make sure we can accommodate any family who requested a conference. But if you requested a conference and your scholar is doing really well in remote learning, you are going to receive a phone call conference from your point of contact in the coming week, who's going to be able to share information about how they're doing across the board in all of their classes. Because we cannot accommodate as many in-person group meetings as we would like, but we still want to make sure that you have the information that you need to make sure your scholar is set up for success. So again, if you've requested a conference, but you have not yet gotten one scheduled, please know that you are still going to be receiving an academic update on your scholar's progress across the board from their point of contact or from a small group of teachers. So our grade teams are deciding and dividing that up this week. And so you should be hearing from people very soon about those updates. We've talked about this a little in a previous chat and chew, but I just want to share a little bit more information. So we are going to give an end of year assessment for math and ELA, but I want to make sure I'm really, really clear that this is not in any way going to be used to determine if a student passes or fails. It is not going to impact their grade in any way. This assessment is really for our internal use as educators to know A, where are students at the end of this year, and B, how can we use that information to plan in the fall, right? So this is really going to just help teachers have a bit of an accurate idea of where we are so that we know how to get where we need to be. For math, this assessment is going to be happening next week on June 3rd, and then June 4th is going to be makeups. The assessment is designed to only take 30 minutes. It's 10 questions, and students must be logged on to virtual class with their cameras on to take the assessment. That is, you know, assessments in a virtual world, there is no perfect way to solve for every scenario, but that is going to be the expectation for how we try to create a focused, quiet testing environment for students to be able to do their best work. So you'll be receiving more detailed information coming from your scholar's teacher in the coming days about the specific time. And then you can reach out if that time that we've scheduled to take the assessment does not work for you. We will host another session for students at a different time to make sure that we give them multiple opportunities to take this assessment. In ELA, we are also going to be offering, or we're going to be administering a reading assessment. And it will be similar in terms of it's not going to be a long assessment. We're going to have students take it in the virtual class, but more information about that will be forthcoming. It'll be taking place the week of June 8th. I do see some things popping up in the chat. I am not yet tech savvy enough to multitask and read those while I'm going. So grade team leaders and Ms. Lopez, if you can respond to things as they're coming up, and then anything that you need me to pause, you think we should address now and not later, feel free to come off mute. Otherwise, we'll get to all of those when we get to the end. Ms. Colgan, did you have something?
Yeah, there is a question about, will we know what time these assessments are taking place? Are they going to be following the schedule, or will it be a different time?
Yeah, they'll be following a virtual class schedule generally, but one thing that teachers surfaced today was just for some students, particularly math class that starts at 9 a.m. has been challenging for some students to be on that early with parent work schedules. So we are going to offer, our goal is to offer 2 times, and we'll confirm those with you in the coming week. So that if your scholar needs a later time, they will have that option. So just some reminders of things that we've talked about before that people have questions about, because as things shift in the DOE, nothing has shifted on our end in terms of summer school. So we are not offering a writ large summer school program for scholars. Instead, we are going to use our time in the summer to really plan strategically for fall. A lot of families have surfaced, when will students be able to get stuff out of their lockers? That is still TBD, just because we haven't got confirmation of when we can access the building. So know that that is not off of our minds, and as soon as we know more, you'll know more. If you haven't already accepted the Guardian invite for Google Classroom to get daily or weekly email updates, please do. Now's a great time to type in the chat if you haven't received that invite, or maybe you received it, but it got lost somewhere and you need it again. Just type your name and your scholar's name in the chat, because our grade team leaders can take note of that and make sure you get that invitation. I've also linked, and I'll share this out via email, a YouTube video that walks you step by step through how to check your scholars' work and their grades on Google Classroom. Just a reminder, you have to do that through your scholars' Google Classroom account. The Guardian emails are simply a summary of progress. You can't actually click on them and get into the Google Classroom. You have to log into your scholars' Google Classroom account in order to be able to actually see the work. And that YouTube tutorial, shout out to Mr. Jorian in 6th grade, who, again, something we learned in remote learning. He's great at making YouTube videos, who knew? That walks you through it step by step. To ensure that your scholar receives pass or high pass in trimester 3, just a reminder of the key priorities. And the good news is these are the same things we've been talking about since the start of remote learning. Make sure she submits her attendance question daily. Make sure that she attends as many virtual classes in small groups as possible. Make sure that she submits her work daily. And that she gives her best effort in all her work and applies feedback from her teachers. So one thing that's come up in some classes and some grade levels that I just want to make sure we address together are students who are using the internet as a resource for their work, and intentionally or possibly unintentionally not realizing that you cannot just pull direct quotes and answers from the internet and submit it in your work. It has to be your own ideas. So we assume the best of our students, that they are still trying to navigate what does it look like to use the internet as a resource to help me with work. But we're asking that you help us also in relaying that message to scholars, that if they're attending virtual class or watching the video of virtual class and using the resources that the teachers are providing, they should be able to complete their assignment without the help of an outside resource. And it's more important to us that we see their original thoughts than that they get a perfect answer. We're not looking for a perfect answer. So please make sure that you're just reinforcing that with scholars at home, as we will continue to enforce that with scholars at school. And then things that are on the horizon that are coming your way. So the academic calendar for the 2021 school year, which I realize right now I put this on here twice. Calendar was really on my mind today. The draft of the 2021 calendar and our plan for the fall is going to be coming in the coming weeks. We are continuing to get information and plan for various scenarios as we learn more about what the fall might look like, and want to make sure that we've got plans A through J so that we're prepared for all scenarios to support you and your scholars when we return for school in the fall. Please know that the academic calendar that you are going to receive is going to remain a draft, as we know that there are some things that could shift over the summer as we learn more from the CDC and as we see what happens with our reopening in New York City and how things progress. Also on the horizon are plans for collecting tech. So if you've got a Chromebook from Girls Prep, we will be sharing information about our plan for how we will get that back and update it before the fall and school starts. Information on summer homework and supplies lists also forthcoming. Our grade teams are going to be spending some time on June 5th when students are not in school. That's also a reminder, next Friday, June 5th, scholars do not have class. It is a work day for teachers so that we can start our end of year planning. So you'll be receiving more information on summer homework and supplies after that. We will also be confirming our end of year calendar dates and the dates for end of year celebrations within the next week. And so you should be on the lookout for a message from Superintendent Bradshaw where she's going to share some end of year calendar updates. And then we will be sharing on the school level the dates for end of year celebrations and award ceremonies. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Lopez.
So we did talk already about, well, we didn't talk about it, but just flagging that 8th grade flyer. We actually got it right before this meeting, which was really exciting because I know a lot of people have been having that question about when is graduation. Next week, just so you know, is unity meetings for 7th and 8th grade students. Also, because it is the end of the year, we also are having our end of year award ceremony coming up as well, which we have for 5th, 6th, and 7th graders, where they have their last opportunity for the academic year of 1920 to get their polo. Doesn't mean forever, right? They're coming back to school. So we'll be talking more about what that schedule is going to look like. I know that typically we have unity meeting separated, right? That end of year award ceremony, I usually do 5th grade for 1 hour, 6th grade for another hour, 7th grade for another hour. So we're going to see what it's like because I, Ms. Lopez, don't think it's healthy to sit in front of the camera doing 3 meetings back to back to back. But that is our life. So we'll see what works best for families and for us in terms of the end of year award ceremony. But for the 8th graders, we have something coming up. I'm getting a confirmation on the date for our prom party, our virtual prom party. So that'll be coming soon. Like I mentioned to the girls, there'll be like an opportunity to win a raffle for a like TV subscription, TV streaming subscription, not TV, I'm old. And we'll have like different games that we're gonna play, and I wanna get us to like all learn the same dance, things of that nature. Then the last thing is this video that I don't know if Ms. Strong you can play. So last week we did the like Catch Me Reading Challenge during the Unity meeting. So I got plenty of pictures of 8th grade students, which I plan to be putting up. Of students Catch Me Reading. I also got a couple of 5th graders this week. Then I got this idea from Ms. Colgan where, we're asking students for this short clip of what is the expectation of virtual learning versus the reality. So Ms. Strong, if you want to hit play, we actually have this clip from Ashley Bonet, who like, even the, what is that, editing? Like the editing was just incredible.
I just want to say Miss Natalie is like having a fit over the production quality and skills that are demonstrated in this 5th grade video. In theater right now, they are working on video production. So shout out to that work. Here we go. Don't give up on me now, internet. Here we go.
Oh, it's cold. It's really freaking. You want blue. You don't really want blue.
Yeah, hold on. Be pretty short. And so what I would like you to do is in the on, Asia, I agree with you. Tacos also bring me great joy. You bring me joy too, Peyton.
Miss Colgan, I have a question.
Yes.
Do you put?
So shout out to 5th grade, man. I could not imagine being 10 years old and putting, like editing a video like this, and then amazing. So we are challenging students to create their own reality versus expectation. I would love to see what is really happening. And it is okay. It is absolutely okay. It's difficult to have an iPad and a TV and a bed at the same time that you're in school. Like, who would have ever thought that that's possible? So it's just great to see this and to be able to laugh at ourselves and let the students know that it is normal to, you know, want to take a nap in the middle of science. Like, we get it. And if your bed is there, it's tempting. So get those videos in, make sure to send them my way or to your teacher's way, and then they'll get them to me, and we can make all of these videos. I have a specific like COVID-19 picture and video folder that I've created with just screenshots and memes and pictures of students and staff and just a bunch of good stuff that's going to be coming for our end of the year show. I know that the next slide is just Q&A. So if I apologize. If families have any questions, you can come off mute. And Ms. Strong's going to pick up her charger. I'll answer this question. What time is the Unity meeting? Unity meetings are 8:30 for every grade. So 5th and 6th was today. Next week will be 7th and 8th. The following week after that, which is June 10th, will be 5th and 6th again.
Ms. Lopez, there was a question about if there was going to be a limit for graduation of how many people can join the Zoom call.
That is a great question. Again, we got this flyer like literally 10 minutes before this call. So there aren't too many details on it in terms of like sharing the virtual link, but that is a question I can bring up during our department meeting tomorrow. Ms. Strong, I see you're back. There was a question about when's the last day of class. I know that students have been asking that a lot as well.
Yep. So that's going to be coming in the end of year calendar updates. Ms. Bradshaw will be sharing some things out in her superintendent's update as they are trying to finalize any shifts this week, including confirming dates for end of year celebrations. So we'll be able to share more and confirm that hopefully as we round out this week. I've also gotten some questions in the chat around attendance in virtual class and how that impacts students' overall grades, passing or not passing. So not attending virtual class is not going to cause your student not to pass. If your scholar is submitting their work and they are submitting work to the best of their ability, and they are submitting their Google Attendance question, not attending all virtual classes will not be what causes them to not meet guidelines. What I will say is that if they are not responding to teachers' feedback about the work, or if they're submitting work, but teachers are having a hard time gauging whether or not they're mastering the content, and the scholar is not engaging in office hours or talking to their POC about it, it will be hard for us to gauge their quality of work. And so I would say again, not attending virtual class alone is not going to cause your scholar to fail, but attending virtual class or office hours or responding to teachers' feedback and questions will help us ensure that their quality of work grade is an accurate reflection of their best effort. And Monica, I see that you think you received the invite, but not sure how long it's valid. We'll note that for 8th grade and just resend if you can't find it. I believe Ms. Colgan's right that I don't think it expires, but if you can't find it in the email, we're happy to resend. And then for families that have questions regarding conferences and conference times, if you are on the conference list for this Friday, Ms. Lopez will be reaching out with your time. Again, we are not going to be able to meet with every family as we did not have a conference day like we typically do, but we are going to make sure that if we do not have a conference scheduled on Friday, but a parent has requested one, that you get follow-up from your point of contact and grade team over the phone so that you still get that progress update on how your scholar is doing in all classes. Awesome. I think I addressed the virtual class one already. If there are other questions about virtual class, I definitely I'm happy to address. Who should I contact to get the attendance letter? Yes, Ms. Giles. So that would be Miss Trez is our like attendance point person. She'd be the one who you can contact about attendance reports. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen just so I can see everybody's faces.
Quick question, this is Yolanda. So for 8th grade, you guys are only planning to do the joint graduation, nothing separate for our girls? Is that what we're looking to do?
Go
The
ahead.
way, yeah, the way that it has been from the meeting that I was in 2 weeks ago, we are doing a joint graduation. There may be a breakout room in terms of separating the schools to do some individual awards, comeback kid, because we do that in the joint, but individual awards like content areas. But once we get more information on that, I'll let you know. In regards to Ms. McCullough, we are together as a 8th grade team for this week. She's expected to be back June 1st, so there's no way she's missing graduation or prom or any of that. She would not allow herself to. She is very upset that she cannot check her emails and just really wants to she's very anxious. She really wants to make sure everything's okay. I saw her on Sunday. But just know she will be here. She plans to be here by June 1st. So she will be present for all of the activities.
Hello?
Hey, Luz. I saw
Hey.
your hand up. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys too. Yeah, I was on that same question about the 8th grade graduations and then, me having all the t-shirts and I know that, they're all stressed out. And then I also found out that Samantha is moving to Florida, who lives where I live at.
Yeah, no, we know that there are a couple of 8th graders that are going to be heading to different locations. And so in terms of the senior t-shirts, we definitely still want to be able to get those out to the girls. So Miss Lopez and I can connect offline with you just about a couple of different scenarios we're playing around with the easiest way and safest way to do that.
Yeah.
In current circumstances.
I'm just gonna, I'm sorry I'm talking over you, Jessica. I'm gonna have the guy, I'm gonna take them back to the guy that did the t-shirts. I want him to add, the senior class of 20, which he already did the senior class of 2020, but I want him to add the quarantine on it because it's the remembering date. Yeah.
It's definitely something to remember. That's for sure.
Yeah, so he said that he would do that for us for free.
Awesome. Well, let's definitely talk about that. You always have the connections. I don't know how.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good to see you.
Same here. So, have you expressed to the parents like the government help that the government is gonna give in June about you don't have to apply for food stamps or none of that because they're gonna be sending an EBT card out to every student?
So that is super exciting. And actually, Mr. Medina's on here. I know he sent some information to me about that this week. We want to make sure we have 800,000% confirmation about charter schools.
Yeah, charter schools are giving, every kid in New York City that goes to charter school or public school is going to be receiving between $398 to $498.
That's incredible. And so we will definitely include in my family summary email this week the information that we do have about that, because I know That's got to be on a lot of people's minds right now.
Yeah. Do that, we fill out the lunch forms at the school for the kids, so everybody's included. That's what we were told today. You know, I get the inline fee first.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you know, I've seen that a lot of achievements have gone out to 5th graders, 6th graders. What's up with the 7th graders? What are they doing?
What do you mean? Ms. Walker had a whole, I have to cut her off with her 7th grade shout outs.
Oh, okay.
Who wants to put too many on there? That's I just sometimes, you know, cut her off. She wants 3 slides.
So I'm under the understanding that if this all blows over, are we positive that we're holding something for the 8th graders, even if it happens in July?
It's all going to depend. And I know that that's like the hard thing right now is that circumstances are still kind of in flux. And so it's hard to say with certainty what it's going to look like in the summer and what we will have the option to do. We definitely, the 8th graders are on our mind. And in addition to our end of year ceremonies and our joint graduation and our prom that we're hoping, our virtual prom, we're hoping to get together.
Yeah.
We obviously also want to think about, like, once we are able to safely get people together, how can we still celebrate them even if it's not in this like calendar school year? It's just hard to determine exactly when that would be possible, given that things are shifting continually.
Yes. Yes. You know.
Awesome. I think I see a couple other people that may have tried to come off of mute. And I want to make sure that I get to answer any other questions. Did anybody else have a specific question that they wanted to surface off mute? I hear you, Miss Sally. Celebration is a celebration, period. As long as we can get them together and have fun at some point.
Hi, this is a parent of a 7th grader. I just had a question about IEP, CSC. Are they in touch with you guys on the goals and if the student's meeting them, or like are you guys retaining any students this year?
Yeah, so kind of twofold. In terms of the CSE and students with IEPs. So right now, no additional or different guidance has been shared by the Committee on Special Education in terms of how schools should be progress monitoring students' goals. And so the small group instruction that's been happening both for students with IEPs has been specifically to provide that small group work around their specific goals and to give teachers the data they need to know whether students are making progress on their IEP goals. I know typically at the end of the year, we share the updates with families in a letter, right? We upload those into our system and print a letter for parents. What we are still trying to figure out is exactly how we're going to get those end of year progress updates to parents and what that will look like. But if you have specific questions about your scholar's progress on her goals, you can absolutely reach out to her point of contact and her teachers, and they can talk to you exactly about what they've been doing in those small group sessions. In terms of retention, and I'm happy to link it's in our slide deck, but I will share it out again in our email. For another year of learning, we are taking a holistic approach to this as we typically do, but we are also taking into account that we are in unprecedented times and this pandemic has impacted families in a lot of ways. And so recommendations for another year of learning are going to be scarce and will be a conversation with families if there are circumstances where we truly believe that having an additional year in their grade is going to benefit a scholar. We also know that given our current state and the fact that like next year might look a little different than a normal school year as well, we're going to be very mindful of that in any recommendations that we make around that. And ultimately that will be a conversation with the parents, and the parents will have a large say in whether or not their student's grade level placement. Similarly, for parents that might be considering they think their student needs another year of learning, I would highly recommend, if you feel that way, reach out and let's have a conversation about it so that we can make sure that we're making the best move possible for your scholar's grade level placement next year.
Great, thanks.
Scarce, we'll have a conversation, but we're definitely not,
Right.
yeah, it's not something that will be recommended lightly, given the circumstances.
And because I don't think the goals that usually are given at a parent teacher were attached with the report card. Was I missing something, or is that was correct?
Nope, you were not missing something. And so the best thing would be to reach directly out to either the point of contact or your scholar's teachers about updates, because you didn't miss it. All we were able to send via Kinvo was that trimester 2 report card.
Okay, all right, great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Awesome, and thank you, Joanne, for linking some information about the news that Luz shared in the chat feed. For those of you that want to read more about the reimbursement that the city is putting in place, for school-age children, based on their participation in the federal lunch program.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. You could be Jasmine's twin, even from a distance.
I hear it all the
even
time.
This big on the screen.
My question is there a specific date that we have to notify the high schools? Like of acceptance?
Got it. So each high school does have a rolling set of dates for acceptance. And so that is definitely something we can talk about individually, and I can connect you with Ms. Brooks in Ms. McCullough's absence, so we can make sure you get that squared away and you know the date for your particular school.
Yeah, because one school emailed me, and I haven't heard anything from any other school, so I'm just like concerned, like, did we miss something, or do we have to turn something in by a certain date? I'm not sure what to do at the moment.
Awesome. Not awesome. That's actually not the right response for not knowing. What is going to be awesome is that Ms. Brooks is going to call you in the morning to make sure we get that squared away ASAP, because I know that's a stressful place to be.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell Jazzy we said hi.
I will.
Hey, Maya. I see you back there.
Say hello to everyone. Say hello to your principal and the staff. I know you miss your teachers.
Hi.
Hey, Maya. Good to see you.
I have a question. Hi, Ms. Strong. How are you? I have a question for you.
Good, how are you?
Oh, well, I had to go into the agency, and then I kind of, in transition, didn't want to miss the Zoom. So when I picked up the girls, we are actually just trying to find parking at the moment in our lot. But the question is, I thought the overall assistance would be for the state taxes claimed per child, not the federal lunch forms. I thought, isn't it not that way, that they're using your state information as per your filing with your dependent? Or is it actually the federal lunch forms? Because I believe it's the state. They're trying to reimburse in a way where it's like they did a prior was from the federal side. So if you use federal taxes to kind of, if you did it online and you had deposit information, you received it that way. I believe the state is working that way. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you heard of anything different, but I believe that's how they're trying to address it.
In full transparency, I don't have all the details on it, so I don't want one way or the other, but what I can do is find the details and make sure that I share them. I do know that it has to do with schools that participate in, when we say the federal lunch program, it's like the free lunch for all students.
Right.
It's definitely a benefit coming from the state. But again, it's something that is hot off the press news to me after hearing it from you. So I want to make sure that I get everybody the information they need and don't misspeak on that, because I'm not entirely sure exactly how it works.
Yeah, the article was great information, but it just didn't solidify exactly how the process is going to go through, and that's why everyone has these questions. I wasn't sure if you had heard anything post my email, but yeah, it would be great if you hear anything. If I realize, you know what I mean? It's money in an application.
Just to answer Medina's question, they're gonna, according to what we were told today, they're running off the school lunch forms because that's the accountability of them tracking kids down and mailing out these cards to the parents.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Cruz.
You're welcome.
Hi, Miss Cruz.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I can't see the full name, but I believe Marcus, you're trying to come off mute. Did you have a specific question? Let me see if I can unmute myself. We can't hear you. Let's see. I know. Oh, technology woes. Miss Lopez and I spend half our day on meetings going, can you hear me? Do you hear her? No, sir, can't hear you right now. If you can type it in the chat, I can answer it that way.
Miss Strong, he said he can't hear you.
Oh, he can't hear me?
Yeah. And then he's trying to unmute himself on his phone. But he doesn't do technology. He'll build you a house from the ground up, but he don't do technology.
I understand that. It's a whole new world.
What was your question, honey? I'll tell her. Miss Strong, can you hear him?
On my end, it looks like he's connecting to audio, but not yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I jump in real quick?
Sure.
From what I received the email yesterday about the food assistance. I received like 3 emails actually. And basically what it's stating, if you have a card already, then they will just add the funds to that card. If you do not have a card, they will send you a card and load the funds that way. So even if you don't have a card, if you have a card, you're still gonna get it. And it was based on if you filled out the lunch form for your child's school. That's from what I took from the emails I
Yeah,
got.
absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. I see Lucy had her head yes too. Sounds like she got similar info.
Yeah. The amount I wasn't sure on, but you're definitely going to receive, if you filled out the lunch form with your child in their school, you'll receive a card. If you already have a card, the funds will be added to your card. I can't hear
I
you.
muted myself. Sorry. Thank you so much. That's super helpful. I'm going to hang back to see if I can hear from.
He's gonna try to get with you in a minute, okay, Ms. John? Just give him a second.
Yep, no problem. And for everyone else, I know we're a little after 6. I don't have any other updates for now, so feel free to go ahead and hop off if you don't have any other questions. And I'll send a summary email out to families with the link to this video. And then because it is a short week, we are not going to have another Zoom chat and chew. So if you need anything this week, reach out. And I'll confirm the dates. We'll be back next week all together. We'll definitely be here on Wednesday. And because next week is also a short week, no school on Friday, we won't have the second chat and chew on Friday. So for this week and next week, we're primarily going to meet on Wednesday, and you'll get a summary email from me with the links and all the information that you need. But keep this time on your calendars for next week, because we'll definitely be coming together then for our primary time. See you, Ms. Giles. Good to see you. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by.
You're welcome.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
See you, Maya.
Tess, you could give me a call when you have a chance.
Sounds good, Luz. I will definitely do it.
Okay.
Bye, Miss Strong. Bye, Miss Q's.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Ms. Strong, he's gonna be punching the question in a few minutes, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Ms. Strong is an angel. She'll wait for you no matter what. Hi, Miss Walker.
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. Hopefully you've been able to get outside a little bit, enjoy the gorgeous weather.
Oh my God, I want to so bad. You don't know, Miss Walker.
Sorry. It's just getting so hard.
Yeah, it is. Especially when we're so used to being out and about and, you know, doing our thing, arts and crafts outside, going to the library and stuff. So.
Yeah. But it looks like a lot of things should be opening up again soon, so keeping my fingers crossed.
I will too. Bye, Miss Walker.
Bye. Have a good night, everybody.
See you, Ms. Walker. All right, so I'm in the chat.
He's coming, Miss Strong.
No problem.
He said he's so sorry. He's not tech savvy.
I totally understand.
Okay, he's gonna send it right now, okay?
Okay.